Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JFG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm gonna go over Puss in Boots: The Last Wish box office, including the news that it just crossed 300 million and the box office after its 6th weekend. So yeah, it's really good news for this movie. It's box office wise. So yeah, let's just get into it. So let's start off domestically, and the movie domestically added 10.6 million dollars this past 6th weekend, with only a tiny drop of 10% from the previous weekend, which is insane. This movie is really having some amazing legs, and thanks to this hold, the movie now has a domestic total of 141.3 million dollars, which is just really nice. This means that the movie has officially outgrossed Lightyear's 118.3 million domestic total, which technically means now that Puss in Boots has become the third highest animated grossing movie of the pandemic, which is amazing. The fact that it got to this level, it's only behind Minions and Sing 2 right now, and it's definitely going to be Sing 2. Now, this also marks the first year since 2008 where every Dreamworks movie film released outgrossed all Disney and Pixar movies released the same year, where The Bad Guys and The Last Wish are grossing Lightyear and Strange World, which is really nice. Top two spots right now are taken, like I said, by Minions 2 and Sing 2, which is interesting because they're all from Universal, showing that Universal is the new king of the animated films in the box office industry. So that's really awesome. Now, while Sing 2 is at the top of Puss in Boots, that's because Sing 2 had been grossing more than Puss in Boots initially. But due to the amazing, and I mean truly amazing legs that The Last Wish has had, The Last Wish has managed to catch up to Sing 2 and surpassed it. Where at this exact same point, where after the 6th weekend, Sing 2 had $134.4 million, whereas Puss in Boots right now has $141 million, which is just insane. It has surpassed it, which is really good, and that definitely means that Puss in Boots: Last Wish will become the second highest grossing movie, animated movie in the pandemic era, because it would definitely beat Sing 2. Now, this also means the movie has now hit an insane 11.3 times multiplayer, meaning its current box office is 11.3 times more than what it was the opening weekend, which is just insane. That's some crazy legs. Very few movies get to have this big multiplier, so it's just really awesome to have that, and it's really nice flex for this movie. Now, thanks to these legs, the movie's total box office domestically is tracking between 160 to 180 million dollars domestically, which is really good. To be honest, personally, I think it's actually going to go higher than this. I wouldn't be surprised if it was between 180 to 200 million. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, because it's tracking really nicely and it really keeps holding well. I've never seen it go down in the holds. It keeps holding out well really nicely. And with this tracking, that definitely means that this would beat Sing 2's $162.8 million domestic total, become the second highest grossing animated film of the pandemic era, which is just amazing. And these legs really do make The Last Wish the greatest showman of the pandemic era, where The Greatest Showman made $174.3 million despite only an $8 million opening, just like The Last Wish only opened with $12.4 million and is tracking to get around $180 million. So yeah, that just shows that Last Wish has become the greatest showman of the pandemic era, and it's even cooler because it's animated, and it's just really awesome to see that. And also, personally, I think The Last Wish is just a better movie than The Greatest Showman, so I think it's just really nice that this movie got this big after its super small opening weekend. It just managed to get this big thanks to the word of mouth. That's awesome. Overseas or internationally, the movie added $14.3 million this 6th weekend overseas, so that's really awesome. This also was only just a tiny drop of 19.7%, which is, like I said, really tiny. This brings the overseas total to $195 million, which is really nice. And not even all the markets have opened. There's still the UK, which will open on February 3rd, so this upcoming weekend, and Japan, which will open on March 17th. So yeah, that's just really awesome that it still has those two markets to open, and I'm sure it's going to be a hit in both of those markets. I'm very interested to see how it's doing in the UK this upcoming weekend. It's really interesting, but it will definitely boost the overseas box office to over 200 and maybe even to over 300 million, because it still has a lot of juice left in the tank. Now, for the global box office of this movie, the movie is right now currently selling at $336.4 million, which is just really nice. Nobody expected this movie to get this big after the opening weekend, so that's amazing. And it's currently eyeing a $420 to $440 million global total run. So that's really awesome. And it's even more incredible whenever you think that the budget is only $90 million. So it is more than 4 times the budget that for this movie. So it just means that the movie has done so much profit. And this definitely means a Shrek 5 is definitely going forward. And I would be surprised if there's a Puss in Boots 3 after this, because it's just insane. And I wouldn't be surprised if Puss in Boots has a much larger role in the Shrek franchise, just because this movie got super big and it became such a big success. The voice actor of Donkey has also expressed interest in making his own spin-off film, and I wouldn't be surprised if DreamWorks decided to follow that path, especially after seeing how bit good this movie did. I think they find a good script. I think DreamWorks would definitely be down to do a Donkey spin-off movie because of the box office revenue that they're generating, and it's doing really, really awesome. So yeah, that's just great. And this is even more impressive when you consider that this movie has already been digitally released on PVOD, which is premium video on demand platforms such as iTunes or Vudu or wherever you buy your stuff. And it's still number one there after it released on January 7th. We're about to be a month into its digital release, and the movie's still holding really well in theaters, and that's the number one on the PVOD platforms. So that's just really amazing, and it shows that this movie's word of mouth has really been hyped up, and it makes sense. I mean, it got an A cinema score. It has like a 96 on critics score, and it has like a 93 on the audience score. I mean, it's just something really strong, something super amazing. So it's just awesome to see that this movie is holding so well in digital release in the box office, and I think so the word of mouth, the audience finally discovered this movie, and it's even going to beat Spider-Verse's official box office total, which is amazing because Spider-Verse was a movie that, while everybody liked it, it never really blew up that much until it got to Netflix, and that's when the most people actually found out about it. And so it's great to see that the market is changing and more people are giving these type of movies with kind of a different type of animated style a chance to watch it, and then they realize, wow, this movie is great. It takes these risks. It's not a generic movie, and it's just super awesome that it's finally getting like the box office result. And I think this bodes really well for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse later this year, where it could have some similar success if it has as strong as word of mouth, which would be super awesome. So yeah, that's just really awesome, and that's my analysis of Puss in Boots' Last Wish box office for a 6th weekend, and the fact that it finally crossed $300 million, which is just insane, an insane mark, and it's definitely going to cross $400 million, and it's definitely going to end up becoming the second biggest animated movie of the highest grossing animated film of the pandemic era, which is just amazing. And crowning Universal as the king of the animated films now, and they're not even done. Like, they still have Mario coming out later this year. I mean, they still have more big movies coming out. So yeah, Universal definitely has gotten the crown of animated films from Disney, which is just insane. And I thought I would have seen this, but it's just insane that it happened. So yeah, that's pretty cool for Universal. But yeah, tell me think about all of this down in the comments. Are you happy with the box office of this movie? Where do you think it's going to end the total box office running? And just in general, tell me your thoughts about this down in the comments. As well as please leave a like in your video. It will be very helpful. So please leave a like and subscribe for all our content, including my box office breakdowns. And I do have more Puss in Boots The Last Wish videos coming out, especially since I just saw the movie, so I can actually make some content for it. So yeah, subscribe for that content. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and this is your entertainment out.